So, so in 1998, I was I was in my senior year of high school, and at the tail end of that year, I was invited to my first high school party. Paul was having an 18th birthday party. He's one of the popular kids, and for some reason, he wanted me, one of the weird kids, to be there. So the only problem was I don't know what it takes to be one of the cool kids at all, but I figured, forget it, just soldier on, figure it out as you go. So I get to the house, I ring the doorbell, Paul opens the door and he says, "Oh, Rich, hey, you're the first one here." Great. So I get a quick tour of the house, I hand him my gift, the latest CD from Third Eye Blind. He says, "Oh, thanks." He doesn't unwrap it, he just tosses it on a table and excuses himself to go do something else around the house because I guess the party wasn't ready. So I'm left to meander around the living room, the kitchen, the places I was just introduced to for about an hour and a half before anyone shows up. And when they show up, they all show up at the same time. I'm still baffled at how they all knew to be late at the same time. As the other kids flood into the house, I see no one has a gift, and I start looking for people to talk to, and I find a group, and they recognize me from class, of course, but they're also surprised to see me there at all. And whatever we're talking about, each group of kids that I approach finds a reason to leave and not be around me anymore. So, okay, I don't know what I'm talking about, but just keep trying, just keep doing it. So eventually everyone ends up in the pool, and that was not a good thing either, because the last time I was in a bathing suit in front of other kids, they pointed, they laughed, they snickered, they whispered to each other, and one girl called me Gorilla Arms. Here, I'll let you look at them. So I didn't want that to happen again, but doesn't matter, just keep going. So I went to my car, grabbed my swimsuit, which only took a minute because I had such a great parking spot before anyone showed up. And then, so I change, I jump in the pool, and then I'm back at square one, looking for someone to talk to. So, and everyone, at this point, everyone's kind of splashing around and playing stupid games, so it's hard to jump in there. But I eventually see some kids from band class on the other side of the pool, so I float over. They're friendly. It was two girls and a guy. It was a drummer, a clarinet player, and then Luke, the sexiest French horn player the world has ever seen. He has short black hair, short along the sides, long on top to show this like wave that he's got going on. He has eyes like a Disney prince, a smile so big and bright it looks like he's showing too many teeth. And the body is tight, it's tan, it's lean, it's muscular, and it's all on display in front of me while we're both half naked and wet. So we start chatting it up, and at this point I think maybe I figured it out because they're not looking for a reason to leave. They keep staying, even when other kids get out of the pool. And when those other kids get out of the pool, we notice it's starting to get cold because there's not enough body heat anymore. And the girls mention how the cold is making their nipples hard. And I'm like, okay. And then I gravitate toward Luke and his nipple. And I'm wondering, are his nipples hard? Do you guys get hard nipples? Are mine hard? No, they feel kind of normal. And then Luke, in my pondering, Luke notices all this and he says, "What are you looking at? You want to grab it?" Now, up until this point, the mental notes I've been taking on how to act and how to be, I should have just grabbed it because nothing really matters among these kids. Everything's a punchline. But that was going against this other voice in my head that said, "Don't get caught." Because if I grabbed that nipple and if I liked it, that means I would have to face the fact that I like boys. And I was not ready to do that yet. So I said, "Ew, no, gross. Why would I want to do that?" So he said, "Okay." And then he put his nipple back under the water, never to be seen by me again for the rest of my life. And looking back on that now, I wish I would have had enough insight to learn a different lesson. Instead of focusing on how to be one of the popular kids, I wish I figured out how not to be afraid of myself. Because if I knew that, I would have been able to grab that nipple, have the laugh. I might have even twisted it or tweaked it or licked it or bite it. I mean, I could go on what I would have done with that nipple, but I guess I'm on a time limit here. And if I knew that, everything would have been fine, but I was so worried about the kids bullying me and ostracizing me, but I was unaware in the moment that they were doing that anyway. So without any help from Luke or any part of his body. So now, since then, I've learned my lesson, and if life ever presents a nipple to me again, I won't be afraid of it. Thank you.